Can't listen live? Download the new 1017 The Truth app on your smartphone today to catch up on all your favorite shows. Search 1017 The Truth on your Google Play Store or Apple App Store so you don't miss out on any of the action.
Being a caregiver for a family member can be very rewarding. It can be very challenging, too. Besides taking a physical and emotional toll, it can also take a real financial toll, especially if you're paying for home safety upgrades, covering medical expenses, cutting back on hours at your job, or having to leave your job altogether. In some states and in certain situations, you may be eligible to get paid for the care you provide, but finding reliable information about caregiver compensation can be overwhelming and very time-consuming. The AARP Foundation Paid for Care Hub can help. It's a free online tool developed with support from United Healthcare, where you can search compensation programs, explore your options, and get answers to frequently asked questions. Find out today if it's possible to be compensated for the time, effort, and care you're providing. Visit paidforcare.aarpfoundation.org to learn more.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee. A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time! It's time! It's beta time!
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am your host, Kyle Wallace of Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth, and we're coming live to you from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. You can always text in or call in at 833-212-1017. And as always, Truth Nation, watch and stream us live on YouTube. That's 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Give us a like. Get us a subscribe. We're almost to 4,000 subscribers. Very, very proud of that. Let's keep on subscribing, keep on liking, so you never miss any of your favorite award-winning 1017 The Truth shows. Shout out to Rhea holding it down on the board for us today.
Hello.
And shout out to you, Truth Nation. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Before I get into it, I got two things on my mind. First thing is first. It's cold. I'm one who is extremely disappointed with the fact that we're in the 40s today. I'm coughing. Got a tickle in my throat. And we had some heat last week, and all of a sudden we all the way in the 40-degree weather, 52 degrees, 50 tomorrow, 53 on wind. This is awful. We are in mid to late May, or soon to be late May, mid-May, and it's still freezing cold. Now, I say this because I woke up this morning. I've been excited. I got brand new windows. Shout out to Universal Windows Direct. I got brand new windows in my crib, and I noticed of late that when I have my these windows, when it's hot outside, the heat's been staying in the house, and I haven't had to turn on my heat for a while. Well, this morning I didn't have my heat on. I woke up, it was 61 degrees in my house. I said, what in the hell is going on? And then somebody came up to me in the office. They were like, yeah, it was so cold, and then I didn't turn my heat on. I said, me either. And I woke up freezing. So come on, Wisconsin. Let's be better. Let's get this weather popping here because it is mid-May, and we don't need to be having this cold weather. Now, the other thing I wanted to bring up before we get into our weekend recap is the fact that Friday's show, I told y'all on Truth Nation, I told y'all here on Truth to Power how much I appreciated going to the Beyonce concert, and I really appreciated y'all's input on the show. Now, the dust has settled after the 3 sellout shows. Rhea, you were at the show.
I was there last night.
How was it?
Amazing.
Was I lying?
You were not lying. I thought about you a couple times. I was also freezing.
It was cold.
It was
there
so
last
cold.
night. I bet it started getting colder and colder. And so she had 3 sellout shows where over 60,000 fans, around 60,000 fans attended each individual show. And I'm sure a lot of y'all, like myself, saw your social media timelines absolutely flooded with people going to the Beyonce concert. People dressed up in their cowboy boots, cowboy hats, and had their chaps on, ready to go to the Beyonce concert. And so maybe you decided to go as well. Or you were persuaded by me to go see her in person like my brother was, who ended up going on Saturday. Also not a member of the Beehive. But I just want y'all to know I loved our dialogue, completely loved our dialogue. And as someone who, who isn't a member of Beehive, I did enjoy the concert. But also on top of that, y'all, there was somebody else who happened to probably catch all the attention that Beyonce was getting this past weekend, because as I was doing my pre-show stuff, I scrolled through and looked for different things. I noticed a tweet from the President of the United States, who's also taking note of the success of this concert, and I guess wanted to come for Beyonce. His name is President Donald J. Trump. Do you hear about this, Rhea?
Absolutely not. What happened?
Yeah, Trump tweeted about Beyonce. He said, according to news reports, Beyonce was paid. This is today. This is this morning at 9:11 a.m. We got wars across the country. But today, the tweet from Donald Trump said, Beyonce was paid $11 million to walk onto the stage. I highly doubt that. Quickly endorsed Kamala and walked off to loud booing for never having performed in not even one song. Remember, the Democrats and Kamala legally paid her millions of dollars for doing nothing other than giving Kamala a full-throated endorsement. This is an illegal election scam at the highest level. It is an illegal campaign contribution. Bruce Springsteen, Oprah, Bono, and perhaps many others have a lot of explaining to do. That is your President Donald Trump at 9/11. But I say that because Beyonce, obviously this tour is starting to heighten, and people are starting to notice that this world tour she's under right now is going to be a success if the president's tweeting about it. So I just thought to, put a cherry on top. If the president's tweeting about you, more than likely it's because you're in the news. And Beyonce is in the news for how phenomenal her show has been. But always remember, you can watch your show. How'd you like it, Rhea, yourself? What did you think of it?
I enjoyed it. I was thinking about what you said about her artistry and visuals. Visuals were immaculate. We were a little far away, but it was really, really good.
Can't relate. I was close.
Okay.
I was pretty close. I was in the club level. I mean, I wasn't in a club, but I was in a club level of Soldier Field. Had good seats.
So I'm reaching out to that friend of yours next time she comes to town. I need that hookup.
He comes to town.
Well, when he comes down, I'm reaching out.
Well, go ahead. Go right ahead. But that was my start. But now, y'all, there's a lot of stuff that happened over the weekend. So it's time for the weekend recap right here on Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace.
Truth Nation, we know you have a busy life and the weekend went by too fast. If you missed any of the headline stories, no worries. We got you covered on the top stories you may have missed. Tap in for the weekend recap on Truth to Power. Kyle, tell Truth Nation the biggest headlines they need to know.
As always, Truth Nation, if you have any thoughts or comments on the weekend recap, you can chime in at 833-212-1017. But remember, you can always watch and stream us live on YouTube. That's 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Now, I'm going to start with some sad news about our former president, Joe Biden. If you have not heard, Joe Biden was diagnosed with cancer. Diagnosed with prostate cancer. On a scale of 1 to 10, they said it was a 9. I don't know all the details. I'm not a doctor, but I do know that I believe it might be stage 4 cancer, but they do say it's treatable, so he does have opportunities to survive this prostate cancer that he was diagnosed with. He made it public just yesterday, so I hope in sending prayers to Joe Biden and his family as he looks to fight this cancer and continue to live on. And I do not believe it was a cover-up, as some people have said. Some gross people have said that they believe this was a cover-up. Somebody even from the Trump administration, his son, even said that how does Dr. Jill Biden, as a doctor, not know that this was cancer? And Dr. Jill Biden is not a medical doctor. She has her PhD and something where it comes to working as a professor. Like Dr. Ken has a PhD. So just shows you how idiotic these people. He thought she was an MD, a medical doctor, when really she has her PhD. So just shows you how dumb some of these people are. But he's reviewing all his treatment options with his family and reviewing all his treatment options with, his physicians and figure out what they're going to do. But it was a aggressive form of prostate cancer that he was diagnosed with. And again, I'm sure a lot of us are thinking about Joe Biden, regardless of how you feel about his politics. I do think he's a good human being, and I don't believe it was a cover-up. But what I got from this, Truth Nation, is I think this is a reminder that it may be time for us to put age limits on running for president. Now, I say this because we all know that there are age limits on how old you have to be in order to run for president. You must be 35 years or older in order to run for president. And again, I wish Joe Biden a speedy and fast recovery from this. But when I think about when you get older, you start running into more health issues. That's just what happens in life. And with Joe Biden, with old age, I remember Dr. Ken Harris told me that a lot of older men, in their older age will develop prostate cancer because it's just something that happens with age. And so when I think about this, I think it is time for us to establish the fact that you have to be between the ages of 35 and 75 to run for president. Now, you can be 75 and run for president, but if you turn, 76 during that year, if you have to be 75 by the time election day comes. If you turn 76 before election day, you cannot run, but we need to have a limit between 35 and 75 for you to be able to run for president. That should be the age limitation. I think in 40 years, you have a big enough window to decide whether or not you want to run for president, because I ain't gonna lie to you. We saw Joe Biden deteriorate while he was in office. You're seeing Donald Trump falling asleep at big events constantly. We literally every other week, Donald Trump is falling asleep at an event. It's not because Donald Trump is, got narcolepsy or something like that. No, he's old and tired. That's what they do. They need nap time. And so when I think about this, I think it's definitely time that we institute some age limit, because there should be no reason why you have people like Dianne Feinstein, who basically died in office, and they had to prop her up to be able to get there to try to vote for stuff. There should be no reason why Chuck Grassley should be 90 years old, still, in the Senate, running for U.S. Senator at 88 years old. It's time to pass on the torch, and sometimes you have to force it. And if you have an age limit of a minimum floor of how old you have to be to run for president, I do think there should be a top. 35 to 75 should be the age that people can run for president. You have that 40-year window to run for president of the United States of America. So again, with that being said, I wish Joe Biden the absolute best, but we should definitely consider some type of age limits when running for president of the United States of America. That's something that should be instituted, because I think it's ridiculous that you can have, 80, or like Donald Trump right now floating a third term, regardless if he planned or not. The fact that he's going to be in his 80s is ridiculous. I didn't think Joe Biden should have ran for president the last time. Too old. But moving on to the next thing, stolen vehicle again. Yes, stolen vehicle again. Maybe I'm a little bit sensitive to it because it has hit home now. When it comes to stolen vehicle, our producer here, Rhea, she has had her vehicle stolen 3 times.
Yep, 3.
Not once, not twice, but 3 times. And for me, I feel bad for Rhea, and I feel bad for so many other people. But now it's hit home because my little cousin had her SUV stolen right from her driveway. Now, she doesn't have a Kia. She doesn't have a Hyundai. She has a push to start. And y'all know what them push to starts. They have the key fobs. And you're able to replicate those key fobs if the key fob is within a certain radius and you don't put it in foil. It's ridiculous. You got to put your key fob in tinfoil so your car doesn't get stolen, even though your key's in your house. But she got her car stolen. And the reason why I'm so upset about this, not just this is just an example, is because what I saw what happened over the weekend. But she got her SUV stolen, and it had a toddler car seat in it, a stroller, baby toys, and whatever random stuff may have been in the trunk, just like many of us have so many different things in our vehicle, right? It just, for me, I know I have my work keys I need to get into the office. I keep that into my car. I got other things. I got some of that smell good in my car. Got some gum in my car. Got some stuff in my trunk, an umbrella, right? Like we all keep certain things in our car, and it's so violating when we get something stolen from us, right? Getting a vehicle stolen is so violating, but also puts a huge burden on people, right? Like Rhea, I talked about, she got her car stolen. She had to walk like she was the 1920s to work every day. It's just a struggle. I'm not trying to make light of the situation.
Okay.
It's a terrible situation, but you got a new car. But no, the financial repercussions that this has, so I'm just saying overall, we got to do something about this. So when I see a story that says 6 teenagers ranging from the age of 16 to 18 stole a vehicle and crashed into another vehicle on 53rd and Valide, it is so disheartening. It's disheartening because these teenagers are causing destruction on other people and then also harming themselves and harming their own lives, right? These teens know what they're doing is wrong. I'm not saying I didn't make any poor decisions when I was a teenager, because I did. I made poor decisions. I did stupid stuff when I was a teenager, but I knew when I was 16 and I got my license and I could drive my own car, I knew I shouldn't be stealing nobody else's car. I knew I shouldn't be speeding and running away from the police. I knew I shouldn't be crashing into people. I understood that when you do things like that, there are consequences to your actions, and somehow we got these young teenagers in our community that don't understand that there's consequences to our actions. So these 6 teenagers, who I know, if you are between the age of 16 and 18, an 18-year-old is an adult. These 6 teenagers crashed their car, crashed into somebody, were chased by the police, causing damage to somebody else's car, causing harm to another human being via the car crash. They were the person in the other car who was just driving their vehicle, suffered, some minor injuries as well. But at some point, we got to start looking at what we can do to solve this. Because again, I will say, I didn't steal no cars between 16 and 8. I never stole a car in my life. Have I been to stolen cars like a 12-year-old? Yes, maybe. The neighborhood car. It wasn't a neighborhood car. The neighbor left his keys in his car, and maybe it's like 12-year-olds. I got in the car, and we rode around the neighborhood and then put it back. Maybe. I was a kid. I was dumb.
No.
I was dumb. You do stupid stuff. I didn't do it. Somebody else pulled us. Oh, okay, we in the car. I knew it was dumb, but you're a kid. But when you 16, you know for dang sure you shouldn't be. I knew at 12 it probably wasn't the safest thing. At 16 to 18, running from the police? Absolutely not. Rhea gave me a look. Listen, we all have a past, Rhea. We all did stupid stuff. But when I think about this, when a 16 to an 18-year-old are stealing cars, running away from police, crashing into people, causing damage to property, causing damage to our community, causing damage and harm to other people, causing stress to other people. Now somebody's car is all messed up when they get it back, and who knows what insurance is going to say? Who knows if insurance may, say the car is total, so you may get $5,000 for the car, but now what is $5,000 going to get you? Can't get you a brand new car that you want, can't get you a car that you really like. So again, you're causing all type of pain for a lot of different people. Now, my solution to some of these wild-ass kids is not lock them up, is not put them in jail, because I don't think locking them up and puts them in jail puts them on a path of success. I believe that when it comes to these kids is that they need to put these kids in a private military school. We got St. John's Military Academy up by Delafield. Maybe it's time for us to get a military academy that we can ship some of these bad kids to, because putting them inside of St. Charles is crazy. I know somebody who used to work there. It's wild. It ain't where you want to be. Putting a 17-year-old and 18-year-old who's still in high school in Milwaukee County Jail, that's not going to be good for them. We need to put these kids into a military school where they can get some type of discipline. Some type of discipline, because I'm telling you this right now, is we cannot continue to go on like this. Right now, Milwaukee is seeing an uptick in violence, an uptick in gunshots, an uptick in people dying from gun violence, right? A 7-year-old, or 11-year-old in Racine ended up getting shot and killed on accident and lost their life. We got to get this stuff figured out here in Milwaukee. So 833-212-1017. If you have any solutions for me, please share them. Please share them, because, again, yes, it hit home. But the only reason I'm really talking about the story, it was just something I can add on to the fact that when I saw 6 teenage boys or say teenagers, I know they're boys, 6 teenagers crashing a car. You just hear the story over and over and over and over. It's one thing to steal a car. That's terrible. Another thing to crash it into a building, to get chased by the police and crash to another car. We got to figure out a solution to this problem. All right? We have to figure out a solution to this issue, and it can't just be lock them up and throw away the key, because that serves us no good. It serves us no good. Now, lastly, the last thing I want to talk about is voting matters. Just really quickly, I know I got to get the break, but voting matters. And I say this because voting for Susan Crawford, I told y'all what could be on the line, right? And y'all made y'all own decision. Susan Crawford ended up winning. And a vote for Susan Crawford is already going to pay dividends for individuals who believe in protecting reproductive rights. Now, when it comes to abortion, I told you, I am a firm believer in people having a choice to do what they want with their bodies. But also, if you ask me, I will give you my opinion. And my opinion is I am against people getting abortions. I'm not for abortions, but I am for pro-choice. So if Kyle Wallace has to make a decision in his life, especially somebody in their mid-30s, I'm not choosing that. I was never going to choose that route. But again, I believe that when it comes to abortions, exhaust all different avenues before you make that choice. But again, that is a choice for you to make. I believe men should have a say in some of these choices. But at the end of the day, women should have a choice in what they want to do with their bodies. That it comes up to them. They get to make that final decision. So that's why I find it so interesting. This past weekend, the Wisconsin Republicans held their state convention in Rothschild, Wisconsin. And in this convention, after losing multiple state Supreme Court races, 3 state Supreme Court races in a row, after only winning 2 statewide elections since 2018, and a lot of that had to do with abortion rights, the Republican Party has decided the 1849 abortion ban that we have here in Wisconsin, a ban that was put in place clearly before slavery, they decided they wanted to double down, and them as a party united in saying that we believe in the 1849 abortion law. So again, I understand how important it is to run for president, but when you have people doing stuff like this who obviously want to continue to lose elections on the state level, but when you have people doing stuff like this, it's important that we vote in elections that are non-presidential elections, because now the reason why I say Susan Crawford vote is important is because now if it comes to the state Supreme Court, more than likely women won't have to have an abortion ban in the state of Wisconsin based off of 1849 law, because you voted for Susan Crawford, who based off her beliefs will vote to allow for women to continue to get abortions or have a choice to get abortion here in the state of Wisconsin. So I encourage everybody, get out and vote in every single election. Get out and vote in every single election. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk and text line. Also, you can watch and stream us live on YouTube. That's 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Before we go to break here, LT on the talk and text line that you can call or text in. He said, who's going to pay for the crash? Who's going to pay for the mess? Why we got to come up with solutions for other people's kids to do the right thing? Who's going to pay for the mess? We are. If you're a taxpayer in Milwaukee, you're going to pay for the mess. That's the way that it works. There's some type of accident or police do some type of malpractice, we got to pay for it. And why we got to come up with solutions for our kids to do the right thing, because sometimes that's what you have to do. And I wanted to be understood that we are talking about a minority of the students and the young kids. Most of these kids ain't driving stolen cars. Most of these kids ain't crashing these cars. Most of these kids aren't a problem. There's just a small percentage that are a problem. So that's why it's important that we come together as a community to try to make sure that the worst of the kids, the worst of the youth, not saying they're going to be bad forever, but the worst of the youth have an opportunity to truly prosper. This is Truth to Power on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. On the other side, y'all, I talked about abortion rights. And now I want to talk about parental and men's rights, because I saw a story last week I didn't have time to get to. But it had to do with the father of children and the mother. They're not together. The mother crossed the line and broke the rules or something, and the father said, put her behind in jail. I'm going to talk to y'all about a story that came out last week, or maybe it was about 2 weeks ago, where a father is advocating to put the mother of his children in jail, a mother who is more than capable of being a mother who has a lot of money, but because she broke some guidelines of a divorce, he said, put her in jail for 20 days. Is he petty? We'll talk about that on the other side. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Truth Nation, Gruber Law Offices and The Truth have raised the stakes for this year. The One Call That's All Gruber Cash giveaway is now a $5K giveaway. Yes, you heard it right. $5,000 giveaway. Every weekday on 1017 The Truth, you will have the chance to be entered to win the $5K giveaway. Listen to The Truth for the One Call That's All cue to call for your chance to win $5,000. Gruber Law Offices, One Call That's All. Visit 1017thetruth.com for official contest rules.
Need to look your best for a special occasion? You need
the $100 hookup.
This incredible deal includes a marvelous suit, shirt, tie, and shoes, all for $100. Only at Nick Cavani's, home of the
$100 hookup.
And that isn't limited to some standard stock suit. You'll be pleased by the top quality and variety of fashion offered at Nick Cavani's. No matter the occasion, maybe you're just ready for a fresh, new stylish look. Get hooked up today at Nick Cavani's in Mayfair Mall and at nickcavanis.com.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
So Black women's leadership needs to be prioritized. That means a whole lot of things, but it includes a message for white women, which would be, it'll be wise for you to take our lead. We've already demonstrated everything there is to the world about who we are. We shouldn't have to keep doing that over and over again. The reality is that there are times when we got to muster up the energy to do some things we don't want to do. But I don't want that to be commonplace for me, and I certainly don't want it to be commonplace for other Black women. There's often this message that we need to stay strong because there are people depending on it. No, we need ourselves.
Yeah, you can't, what do they say? You can't pour from an empty cup?
Yes. And I even am hearing people say a lot more, you shouldn't pour from your cup at all until it overflows. And it's the overflow that you give. You keep the full cup for yourself.
This has been your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute. It is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am Kyle Walsh, your host of Truth to Power. As always, you can call or text in at the Truth Talking text line at 833-212-1017, but always watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That is 1017 The Truth on YouTube. So again, on the other side, I talked about abortion rights for women and men being able to have a say. And again, I believe everyone should have the right to make a decision that is best for them. Once a kid is here, I believe there should be some type of co-parenting. Now, I do not have kids myself, but I hate hearing stories about how a mother, particularly, specifically a lot of times, utilizes the child as a tool or power to control the man. Again, I have not personally had to deal with this situation because I do not have any children that I know about. And I think about how, this situation of women using, children as a power tool, I always think it's kind of unfortunate. And I think back to Ben and Carrie last week on Jamming with Juice 7 to 9 a.m. right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, and how Ben and Carrie were talking about a story with Haley Bailey, who is a actress and singer, and her problem she's having with the father of her son, with rapper or streamer DDG. And a lot of drama in that situation, a lot of control on her end. I see that. Though I agree DDG might be a bad person, it does not mean he is a bad father, right? And I think sometimes we kind of get some of those things mixed up, because somebody hurts me emotionally and even physically, which physically, again, I'm against all of this. Or somebody's mean, or you feel he does certain things you don't like, just because they do things you don't like that makes them a bad person or a bad partner, does that mean that they are a bad father, right? There's two different things. You have to be able to separate those things, but I think far too often when your emotions are hurt or people are upset, they can't separate those things. And I understand how hard it is. And these things can get very ugly and these things can get very petty. Now, this leads me to the situation I was talking about before with Tiana Taylor and Iman Shumpert. Now, they had a TV show together. Iman Shumpert played basketball in the NBA, and Tiana Taylor is a singer. And as many, Hollywood couples go, a lot of them end up in divorce. And in this specific situation, Iman Shumpert and Tiana Taylor have kids together. And they ended up getting a divorce or filing for a divorce and have an agreement put in place last summer. Now, with that agreement, as part of that divorce agreement, they both agreed to not speak publicly about their divorce proceedings or anything that had to do with the divorce, right? And so, follow me now. Tiana Taylor got up on a podcast or a stream one time, or maybe it was social media, and she ended up mentioning something about the agreement that they had, kind of being petty, talking trash about Iman Shumpert. And during that, she actually violated the terms of the agreement of their divorce. Now, this is where it gets interesting, y'all. Because she violated the terms of the agreement of the divorce, she has a price to have to pay for violating those terms. Now, obviously, nobody's really checking for her. The courts aren't really checking for her. But Iman Shumpert was checking for her. And Iman Shumpert said, listen, you weren't supposed to get up and do that. And so Iman Shumpert decided, you know what? I'm going to file a motion to make the mother of my children have to go to jail for 20 days. Let me just read this here. Iman Shumpert filed a legal motion seeking to have his ex-wife Tiana Taylor jailed for up to 20 days. On May 5th, 2025, Shumpert submitted a contempt motion in Georgia court alleging that Taylor violated their divorce agreement by publicly discussing specific terms of their settlement, which was prohibited under their final judgment. He claims these actions have harmed his personal and professional reputation and caused him financial loss. Additionally, Shumpert accuses Taylor of obstructing his parenting rights, including preventing him from picking up his children on April 17th and speaking negatively about him in front of his daughters, which he alleges has caused emotional distress. So with that being said, Iman Shumpert had decided that he wants the mother of his children to be put in jail for 20 days. Is this wrong? Is he being petty for asking the mother of his children, the primary caretaker of his children, to be thrown in jail for 20 days? Because some people may be rubbed the wrong way because they may say, oh, he's soft, or men are becoming this, or he's being super petty, or he's less of a man for this. And I can see it. I can definitely see that. But when I think about this, I think about the many times that women so often utilize children as a weapon. And some of y'all may think that, again, Iman Shumpert is wrong for doing this, but let me just continue on. Iman Shumpert only did this after Tiana Taylor did this first. This illegal move comes following similar actions from Tiana Taylor earlier this year, where in March she filed a motion accusing Shumpert of leaking details of their divorce to the media, requesting that he be found in contempt and face the same penalties of a $1,000 fine and up to 20 days in jail. So again, this is nonsense. This is crazy. And me personally, when I look at this situation, I know this might rub people the wrong way. I believe this is all messed up, but rules are rules. If you break rules to an agreement, you have to have some type of accountability. So do I want Tiana Taylor to go to jail for 20 days? I don't really care for her to go to jail for 20 days. But again, women put men in jail all the time. Women threaten men all the time with saying, I'm going to do this if you don't leave, or I'm going to do this if you do that, or I'm going to do that if you see the kids, or I ain't going to allow you to see your kids and do that. So again, now that the shoe is on the underfoot, is it unacceptable? 833-212-1017. Is Iman Shumpert wrong for trying to put the mother of his children in jail for 20 days for breaking their divorce agreement? 833-212-1017. I want to hear from y'all because with these parental rights, I just, I understand that women need to be with their children at a young age. But I'm getting sick and tired of seeing all these stories and these experiences that people have where women can control when a man can see their child, or women can control everything. And now that the shoe's on the other foot, old people are outraged on social media. 833-212-1017. I definitely want to hear from you. Remember, you can always watch and stream us live on YouTube. You can go ahead and you can chat in on the YouTube. Is Iman Shumpert wrong? Is Iman Shumpert wrong for trying to throw his baby mama in jail for 20 days for violating their agreement? 833-212-1017. We'll take your calls. We'll look at your texts on the other side. But again, I want to know, is Iman Shumpert wrong for putting the primary caretaker of his children, taking the mother of his children away from his children for 20 days? Is he petty for doing this? 833-212-1017. We'll have more on the other side.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Need to look sharp for graduation? You need
the $100 hookup.
Want to get decked out for prom? Get the
$100 hookup.
An incredible deal that includes a marvelous suit, shirt, tie, shoes, all for $100. Only at Nick Avani's, home of the
$100 hookup.
And that isn't limited to some standard stock suit. You'll be pleased by the top quality and variety of fashion offered at Nick Avani's. Get hooked up today at Nick Avani's in Mayfair Mall and at nickavani's.com.
Immerse yourself in a place where bold ideas are sought after, where all are encouraged to bring their personal flourish. Here, innovation is a way of life. In this city, the beat flows. Together, we're dancing to the rhythm. Forward. Now, it's your turn to grab hold of that energy, where you'll remember not just the meals, the celebrations, or the uncommon coast. What you'll remember is how we made you feel. Come experience Milwaukee, where fresh meets fearless every day.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing, they've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years. From their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee, their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design. Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
It's 1017 The Truth. Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. There's no better time to upgrade your windows and doors than right now, because you can get up to 6 years of 0% financing at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Yes, no interest for up to 72 months, and the full Pella experience is always included. That means the Pella team is with you from start to finish. They don't disappear after the work is done. Set up your free in-home consultation. You commit to nothing at this point. A Pella design expert will listen to your vision and then present the different colors, sizes, and customizations needed to make that vision a reality. It can feel overwhelming to consider what feels like limitless possibilities, but Pella's design team can help narrow those options down for you to create that dream upgrade. Hurry! Get 0% financing for up to 6 years. Certain restrictions apply, and the deal ends May 31st, 2025. So visit PellaWI.com today.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 1017 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snibe. After losing their last two games, the Milwaukee Brewers got a bounce-back win thanks to some home run robbery from Jackson Churio out in center field.
Here's a fly ball, left center field. Churio on the run, at the track, at the wall, jumped up. Jackson Churio brought it back! Oh! Jackson elevated above the wall, and he pulled back the home run from Royce Lewis. Incredible!
The robbery there preserving the 5-2 Brewers win. They'll open up a 3-game series tonight at American Family Field against the Baltimore Orioles. Over to golf, where Scottie Scheffler won the PGA Championship on Sunday, and to the NBA, where the Denver Nuggets are eliminated from the Oklahoma City Thunder as they win in dominant fashion. This one by a final score of 125-93. They'll take on the Minnesota Timberwolves in the Western Conference Finals. The Sports Update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Oh, look at Big X the Plug blowing up after Beyonce. This is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Before we get back into it, listen, y'all. One call, that's all, with Gruber Law Offices. If you or a loved one is ever injured in an accident, do not hesitate to make one call, that's all, because Gruber will take care of the rest. It's wild driving out here, and I don't want anybody to ever get in an accident or a loved one to get in an accident, but it is good to know that we have a law firm right here in Milwaukee who continues to stand up for victims who are injured in accidents, who focus on taking the burden off your shoulders so you as a client can focus on healing. I'm telling you this right now, they have the best service, the best representation, and the best care because it is their priority. Don't go back and forth with the insurance companies. Call Gruber Law Office today, and always remember there's no fee for you to call them or consult with them or retain them as a law firm. You never pay a single penny until they win your case. Call Gruber Law Offices today at 414-276-6666. That's 414-276-6666, or visit them at gruber-law.com. It is one call, that's all, with Gruber Law Offices. This is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am Kyle Walsh, the host of Truth to Power. Remember, you can always watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. I see y'all are turning up in the chat today on YouTube. And on the other side, we had a conversation talking about famous people, but more importantly, talking about parental rights, because too often I feel like men don't have enough power and control in the decision-making of what happens with their children. And I understand there's such an importance of mothers being able to nurture and care for their children, especially at a young age. Children need their mothers at such a young age. But we also know that young children need their fathers as well as they grow up. There's so many broken souls and so many broken children and who are longing for a complete household, but even if not a complete household, to be able to have a relationship with their father. So knowing that there's people out here who make a decision to choose to not allow a capable individual, a person who wants to be in their child's life, to have that opportunity and utilize that child as a reward or a prize for good behavior is complete nonsense. And I feel like in the situation that we're talking about here, we see this. See, Tiana Taylor and Iman Shumpert have money to go at each other in courts. But not a lot of people have that. Not a lot of men have the ability to say, I'm going to go to the court. They don't have the time where they don't have to work because they already made a lot of their money to be able to go to the court. They don't have the time to pay thousands of dollars in lawyer fees just to get somebody to do what is right. And on the Truth Talk to text line again at 833-212-1017, Logan said she knew she was violating the agreement. There should be consequences, but jail time is too far. I agree. I think jail time is definitely too far, and I doubt she'll spend a day in jail, but she should pay a fine. 100% should pay a fine because of the fact that she broke an agreement, and she can't continue to break this agreement just like he can as well. There definitely should be a fine. But also on YouTube, if you go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube as well, I see y'all with a lot of great comments inside of the YouTube chat. And someone asked on the YouTube chat, they said, listen, if this happens, who will watch over the kids? Who will take care of the kids, Kyle? And I said to him, Iman Shumpert. What do you mean who will take care of the kids? Iman Shumpert's a more than capable individual. So if she did go to jail, Iman Shumpert would be able to take care of the kids. And that goes to me, that plays into the problem that we have, is that we think that men aren't capable of being fathers. I've shared with y'all my experience with, in my family where the father stepped up and became the primary caretaker of the child because the mother didn't want to step up and do it. But a lot of times we act like men can't do this when all the time men are more than capable. Now, can we give love like a mother? Absolutely not. Just like women can't give love like a man, like a father. But stop thinking that men are not capable of being good fathers and taking care of their children. I think that plays into the problem that we have in society where people use their children as a weapon. Also here on 1017 The Truth on YouTube, Sincere Ronnie said, hurt people. And I 100% agree with the fact that hurt people do hurt people, and that's how we get in these situations like that. But at the end of the day, the people that are impacted negatively the most are the children. They are completely the children, and not really a city girl said, I don't think he is wrong. Hold her accountable. She violated an agreement, and I 100% agree. She should be held accountable. Again, I don't think jail is something that needs to be done, but I think there just needs to be a bigger conversation had about parental rights and why men need to have more of a say in what happens in their children's life, because women have entirely too much control and drag men through the dirt and drag men through all these different situations in order for them to have the right to be able to see the kid that they helped bring into this world. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk to text line. And Tyrone, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts on this conversation?
Hey, crack-a-lack-a-lackin', Kyle. It was cracking, man. All right, what's up, Rhea? All right, Monday. And birthday to my mother on today, Miss Catherine W. Yeah, most certainly. So, birthdays to your mom. Well, let me just, I was going to do the car stealing first there, but let me do Sumter and this Tyler woman first here real quick, briefly, rapid fire. Because the other chat speakers answered it for, I was going to say, well, 20 days, that ain't going to do nothing. Who gets the children, or where do the children land? And then, well,
they live with
right
the father, Tyrone. Why can't they have the father?
No, I'm not saying that he shouldn't. I'm just saying if they're in court, though, are the courts going to let it go that way?
Well, I'm just confused. I guess, Tyrone, I'm so confused when people say that is that there was a moment where he got upset that she was keeping the children away from him. And then when she also did the same thing. I'm sure people wouldn't be crying, if he goes to jail, who's going to watch the children? The mother is. I'm just confused why we think a millionaire isn't capable of watching his kids.
No, that's not. But I guess what I'm saying, there's so much behind closed doors and everything, and it's sad that it had to come this far to be in the courts, I mean, you hear it with the Ant-Man, and all these babies he's making, and many others too. I mean, so I mean, you need additional 2 hours. You need another 2 hours to thrash all this stuff out. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's a lot that has to be answered there, and to make sure that the children land safely. That's the main thing. Now, to this car stealing and everything, when I was in high school, there was just before the military, whether your grades were decent or not, there was a thing called the Delayed Entry Program, or ROTC. And I don't know if these people get incarcerated or not. They're underage or anything. 3 strikes or whatever. You can either go infantry, Army infantry, or artillery, or the Marines. Now, West Point, you got it, because West Point, you coming out of West Point with good grades, and you're bound for officer.
You got to be smart to go there.
Yes, to be an officer. So, but you're going to go infantry or artillery or the Marines. So I don't know if that's what it's going to take, but it's a lot, man. We're on a path to something, and I'm not quite sure what it is, but we'll see what happens, though. But I'm gonna let you go with that. But we'll talk. Good Monday. Love you, crack-a-lack-a-lackin'.
What's crack-a-lack-a-lackin'? Does he really have a horn? Like a clown?
Sounds like it.
I love that. I love that energy. We need that type of energy and love. 100%. But again, we having a conversation talking about Iman Shumpert and so much and Tayana Taylor, but it's more about parental rights. And I'll close it up at this one before we wrap up the show on the other side coming up. Is that I just find it interesting. Even Tyrone brought up the whole point about, the father, who's going to have the kids? The father is. But what I find so interesting about this is the fact that when men start acting like women, and let me tell you, don't get offended. I love women. I'm going to tell you this right now. I love and respect women. I am an advocate for women. But I just find it interesting when men start exhibiting female behavior when it comes to the actions that they try to do that some may see as petty. All of a sudden, y'all want to lessen that man's manhood. That's what I find to be so interesting, is that when a man finally decides to fight back with the pettiness that so many men have to deal with, all of a sudden it's a problem. All of a sudden he's a this, he's a that. That's what I'm trying to say, is that at the end of the day, we got to do what's right for these kids. And what's not right for these kids is the back and forth. What's not right for these kids is the arguing that they do in front of the children. What's not right for these kids is the kids being used as a weapon, as a tool that's formed against another parent. that is not what is right for these kids, because what we're causing is mental harm to these children, and you don't know what's going to be festering inside that child. They may harbor some type of resentment against their father simply because of something that their mother said or poison they put in their mother put into their brain about their father. Now, I'm not saying this is a situation for all, but I'm saying in a situation where Iman and Tiana both seem like great human beings. They both seem like more than capable individuals. They both have made it in their career path that they want to go. Tiana, excellent singer. Iman, very good basketball player. They both reached a level of success in the career path that they wanted to go down. We've seen them on TV. We've seen what their relationship is. So we both know that they are great individuals that both have the capabilities to be able to parent or co-parent. But unfortunately for these kids, when they got a divorce, not only was their lives shaken up and broken up and no longer being under one roof with both parents, but now they're seeing their parents turn on each other and they're caught in the crosshairs. So all I'm saying is, I'm not saying men need to have more rights because as men we need to have this. No, men need to have more rights because at the end of the day, that can cause for a child to be more whole. That can cause for a child to kind of, heal those wounds of what a divorce can cause inside of a household. Talk to children of divorce. Very torn up by the divorce. Very torn up. I work with some people across this office that are children of divorce, and these are grown folks. And still to today, they show scars of what they had to go through when their family got broken up. So all I'm saying with this is that we need to give men more parenting rights and more say in what's happening with the children, because you can only have a positive outcome from that. 833-212-1017. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Walsh on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. On the other side, I'm going to share my final thoughts of the day for this entire show. But remember, you can always watch and stream us live on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. But on the other side, I'll share my final thoughts on our total conversation for the day. Keep it locked. This is Truth to Power on the award-winning best radio station you can find in the land, 1017 The Truth.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m.
This is Sherwin Hughes from The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. And Truth Nation, you can now watch my show live on YouTube every day from 9 a.m. until noon. Yep, you can get 3 full hours of watching Sherwin doing his thing, streaming live on YouTube Monday through Friday. You'll get the same insightful conversations about policy, politics, and lifestyle while also seeing my reaction to the unpredictability of our listeners. So go to YouTube right now, subscribe to 1017 The Truth, and see this wonderful smile live every day.
Need to look your best for a special occasion? You need
the $100 hookup.
This incredible deal includes a marvelous suit, shirt, tie, and shoes, all for $100. Only at Nick Cavani's, home of the
$100 hookup.
And that isn't limited to some standard stock suit. You'll be pleased by the top quality and variety of fashion offered at Nick Cavani's. No matter the occasion, maybe you're just ready for a fresh, new stylish look. Get hooked up today at Nick Cavani's in Mayfair Mall and at nickcavanis.com.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Experience some of the most cherished popular music of all time when the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra presents Let's Groove Tonight, Motown and the Philly Sound, May 23rd through the 25th at the Bradley Symphony Center. Byron Stripling will lead the MSO and an exciting trio of vocalists that include Broadway superstar Chester Gregory, Ashley J., and Brick Liam in a musical sojourn of hits made famous by legendary talents such as Lou Rawls, Marvin Gaye, Diana Ross, and The Temptations. Songs like My Girl, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, and I'm Coming Out will come alive in fun and stylish arrangements that are sure to have you dancing and humming along in your seat. Let's Groove Tonight, Motown and the Philly Sound runs May 23rd through the 25th only. So lock up your tickets right now by calling the box office at 414-291-7605 or visit mso.org.
You are listening to Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
One, two, three, ho!
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am Kyle Washer, host of Truth to Power. We got to get this mic fixed because every time I get up, I feel like I'm finna sing or something like that. I got to get this thing tightened up here because I done snatched this mic off for like the last week. But again, you can always watch and stream us live on YouTube, and I want to thank everybody for chiming in on today's conversation. We covered mostly talking about parental rights and men having more rights for their children, but also at the start of the show, something that is still heavy on my mind. It's just the story, again, the headline reading, 6 teens between the age of 6 and 18 steal a vehicle and crash it. And I just think about how we're getting into a summer, and right now, violence is up. And I'm concerned about the safety across the community. As we have the TVs on here, and I saw that somewhat at a gas station here in Milwaukee on Fond du Lac and Hampton, a gas station that I go to quite a bit. Whenever I'm driving home on Fond du Lac, I make a choice. Do I want to go to the two gas stations that are across from each other on, what is that, Fond du Lac and I don't even know what a cross section that is. Over there by that Taco Bell and KFC. Or do I want to go down the street towards Fond du Lac in Hampton and go to that gas station? So seeing that somebody got killed at that gas station, I said, dang, I go to that gas station all the time. Listen, Milwaukee, we're in for a troubling summer. I understand stealing a car is not the same thing as shooting and killing somebody, but a crime is a crime. And it speaks of a mentality that some of these young people may have right now where they're exhibiting reckless behavior and endangering other people's lives. When you steal somebody's car, you're messing with their livelihood. When you steal somebody's car, you're taking something from their personally. When you steal somebody's car, you're putting an undue burden upon that individual. And these kids need to understand that, because when you are 16 to 18 years old, you fully understand what you are doing is completely wrong. And there needs to be leaders. There needs to be adults. It needs to be community members that step up and show love to these young kids, but also hold these kids accountable for some of these actions. And we need to come up with a viable solution to get some of these troubled youth off the street and not into St. Charles. And no knock on St. Charles. I know they make money doing stuff, but we need to get them in a place where not to just hold them with other people who are problem children. Building something over here off 76th Street or in Brown Deer, off of Brown Deer Road. No. We need to figure out a real solution to get these kids in a place where they can learn to be better individuals, learn some skills, learn some discipline, so they can be contributing members to society. We got to come up with some solutions because we have a problem here in Milwaukee. But this has been Truth to Power on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. The Tory Lowe Show is up next. I'm Kyle Wallace. Thank y'all for listening. Peace out. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
This may be another Elon Musk bureaucratic shuffle, or this may be whatever it is. These Dr. Ken are